Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 2 of the World Beach Ultimate Championships 2025. The weather is beautiful here on the golden sands of the Praia de Rocha in Portimão, Portugal. And we are kicking off with some action from the Open Division to begin day 2. A real mouth-watering matchup of two of the powerhouses in this division. Belgium up against Canada. My name's Benjamin Rees and delighted to be joined by the well-travelled Atlas himself, Stefan Rapazzo. Steph, I think this game is an absolute banger.
Yeah, you know it's a mouth-watering affair here, Benji. Two nations that have been at the top of the Ultimate World, particularly in the Open Division, for such a long time now. Belgium's ascendancies happened, I suppose, more in the last 2-3 years, where they won the European Championship. Having a look at these pools first before we divulge further. Pool D at the bottom, Canada and Belgium, both 1-0, both have excellent point differentials right now. But yeah, Canada has been this, a country at the top for decades, and every team has always circled them as a rite of passage to have a chance at championship. And when you think of the Canadians now on this Open team, they've got a world gamer, Malcolm Bryson, West Coast wonder, was awesome out in Chengdu, going all the way to the final, silver medaling, and really 1 point away from a World Games championship. He's bringing his talents onto the beach here for Canada, and he's going to be one to watch, and one who's going to have a keen eye on some of the opposition. How about this guy, Benj?
Dan de Marais, he's only the reigning club player of the year, both in Europe and in the US. Had a virtuoso performance at Nationals, 20 plus goals and assists to not even a single turnover, thanks to a little bit of quibbling with some statisticians on the way. But, I think his reputation precedes him at this point. Arguably the best player in the game, certainly on grass. Let me tell you, he's no slouch on sand either.
No, not at all. Doesn't lose a step. Dan is awesome. Both these teams very keen to get this game. They had it circled on both of their pool play calendars, and we are now underway in an Open Division pool play barn burner.
Yeah, Canada in the mono red, white jerseys and black shorts for Belgium. Canada beginning the game on offense, sending that one out for Robinson. Burden on this near side, looking to dish into the centre, moving the disc nicely towards midfield. Belgium at the moment just trying to take away the big play and force them to grind it down the field. Brissett goes into the centre. Boychuk has Lewis isolated in the centre, gets it past the bidding defender and slots it in to the end zone for Robinson. Nice clean hold to start for the Canadians. They lead 1-0.
Tidy, patient, decent defence by the Belgians. No risks, no major chances here. This is very much a point where they're feeling one another out. I think the Canadians were very good with their decision making, good choices, no high stall counts, nothing risky. A good first point to get to know one another. Let's see if Belgium can respond. Here's a look at the finishing touch there. Nice clearance to get around the mark. I think the mark itself compromised, or the coverage severely compromised, but you see the chase across on the mark there. No way to close the door and the lane, and the break side becomes an open side, and that part makes it easy scoring.
Doing a very good job there of creating big clear spaces to prevent any potential doubles or poaches. Here's our first look at Belgium's O-line as the first pass goes to the main man, Dan de Marais. There's a distinctly Mooncatcher's feel to the O-line. Dan de Marais wants it. Bontemps agrees with him, shoots. This is a little bit of a floater. And I've no idea how Dan de Marais got that. I was sure that Mike McKenzie had perfect position and had already had it plucked. But somehow, as he often does, Dan de Marais comes away with it.
I got no words almost. How does he come down with that? You're right. McKenzie had position. Bontemps' throw was not an ideal throw. That was not Bontemps' best throw by any stretch of the imagination. Floated up, odd angle, came down, like you see Don now, kind of looking up at the sun at the same time, defying everything. Here it is. It's so improbable for him to come down with that, yet it's the number 27 shirt of Don Desmarais, and anything that's seemingly improbable is something that is turning his way more often than not.
When you shoot to Dan Desmarais, those percentages are tilted a little bit. A 50-50 is perhaps never quite actually a 50-50. The Belgians running out their second, more experienced D-line. Here's Emile de Rijk de Poel as a key part of the jet set as they won the inaugural World Beach Ultimate Club Championships here on the sand last November in that hellacious final against the Americans' Humiliswag.
What a final that was, right here, there, these very sands, this very stadium, the exact same spot. So there's a lot of these Belgians that were jet-setting champions.
And here's the deep shot coming for Canada. Is it going to hang for long enough? Excellent layout bid to get underneath and secure it from Page. Lewis now trying to find a centering option. Lovely lead throw there to see a little seam of space, and Boychuk hops it in to put Canada back on top.
Well, that one was all about Page. I mean, the throw I actually thought was off. I didn't think it was going to make it. Great individual effort to keep the fingers in between the sand and the disc there and keep it off the ground. An improbable one just the same, but to a different regard. Not beating a defender, just getting a good read and launching the body to the sand at the very right moment. The rest was a nice little easy short shot into the center of the end zone to finish things off. So offensive efficiency is one way or another shining for both of these teams. No turns and 3 points. And though there's been a couple speculators, both teams getting away with 100% possession. As we push further in, another Canadian D-line. This does look like they're younger. He said, we're talking to Coach Artebello, he said he's got two D-lines. One's a little bit more veteran and one has a more under 24 feel. And that's this one out here now.
Adibe on the mark. Up against Desmarais. Big pump fake downfield from the now quite severely shorn Ref Yonkers. Grab underneath from Osterlink. Ben Yonkers takes off, clears out the space, not looked at. Van der Ros now. A low bidding block, is it?
That was intercepted by my eyes and then in the hands of Ben Yonkers.
Not quite sure how that ended up in Yonkers' hands, because I thought Miller had the line and had the disc.
I thought he clap catch. Let's listen.
No, we did not have a good look. Like he had, I was looking at your backs. He was looking through the people. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And they're calling it a turnover.
And that's the first turnover of the game. I think that's the right call based on what my eyes saw live.
That was my gut instinct. Having got the block, can this younger D-line show the maturity needed to get it over the line? It's the young gun Stonehouse, resplendent in his shades. To Miller, back to Stonehouse now. Peternuzzo trying to squirrel Stonehouse free as the dump. He's able to make that catch stick, and now Peternuzzo fakes the backhand to the far side, looks for it again, and they somehow find a pocket of space where Adibe strikes through, and Canada with the early break go on top even further. It is 3-1.
Adibe's hand's so sticky he can't even spike the disc. Canada, first blood, big break. The throw, I'll say, on the interception there to Dax Miller. This one here coming up, Dax Miller's interception is to me, that's a Van der Oost error. And Van der Oost's throw was inside, gave way too much of a chance, as we keep seeing it there, to Dax Miller. And then just great patience. The news, Max Peternuzzo finishes it off, but got multiple touches on the conversion attempt. And Brandon Adibe, being covered by Don Desmarais, is the one who finally slips open to find just enough space for the News to find a seam and punch in a break score for Canada. And that makes it 3-1 as they started on offense. So early breaks look painful on the scoreboard for the Belgians.
Ball lands just shy of the back of the end zone and then rolls out. So an opportunity here for Heymans to walk it to the front. Vertical setup downfield. Desmarais is lateral as the reset. Ref Jonker setting the front, but they are going to take the lateral pass that's available to Desmarais. Keeping a first choice O-line out there for Belgium. Leader from Bonton to Desmarais. There's nothing downfield but a big fake. Gets Bryson biting, and that one low is kept alive by Desmarais. Our two players to watch there matching up against each other. A little bit of a treat for us. Outside in, the roll curve angle was perfect from Desmarais, and Oosterlink toes it at the front for 3-2. Wolf Oosterlink's a player who starts really on the rise at the moment.
Yeah, Oosterlink finding that corner there, and you're right. Just a big body. He did it with the under-24 side for Belgium. He'll be on the next Belgian Open team on grass. He's doing it here on the sand. From Ghent, the team in green, Gentle, Oosterlink. One of the additions to they could really go full moon catchers on their O-line if they really chose to. They've got the Jonkers, Bontemp, and Dan, who are, and Arnaud van der Oost, who was Jet Set and is now Moon. But to accompany with Brecht Heymans and Oosterlink, that is a very strong O-line. They're great accompaniments to that Mooncatcher 5 to make a very strong 7 that they can put out there. And in a case like this where they're going to play 2 O-lines in a row back-to-back after being broken, a couple small tweaks, and they've got a nice line out there to get them to hold back as they've done. And good pull by Lander.
Yeah,
lands in, bounce out.
This is the Big B's D-line, they were calling it, where you've got kind of that Frisbee's cause out of Bruges. You've got Lucas Rachissard as well as Tur and Arne Giernat, but Louis Betrancourt providing a little bit of steel, and of course, as you mentioned, Lander de Krane on the pull to provide that size and length downfield as Betrancourt comes through with a layout block. This man does not know how to take his foot off the pedal defensively. Can he find an option into the end zone? No, goes back. Rachissard spreading it wide, and the fraternal connection works a treat to brother Arne Giernat, and Belgium break back at the very first time of asking. They've tied it at 3 apiece. I expect that this game is going to be tight as you like the entire way here, Steph.
Oh, I love that response immediately, just showing, yeah, okay, we're allowed to make mistakes. We are human, but we are going to take our advantages back. They take that one away. Giernat to Giernat for the goal is beautiful. I do love the fraternal connection from up in Bruges, the Frisbee's brothers. But that, as you said,
could well have been a Callahan.
Very close. Louis Betrancourt moving from strength to strength, was just a young player who could, run pretty quick, an ex-footballer, soccer player who showed great potential athletically about 3-4 years ago now, has turned into one of the best defensive players on the continent and is doing things like this, getting blocks in the end zone near Callahan's and giving the first break to his nation, Belgium, to level things up with the Canadians.
Do Belgium have any other successful soccer converts, Steph?
I think that number 27 once played a game or two himself.
A man knows his onions. Arthur van der Weger just stepping into the lane there to spoil the deep shot. As Canada work it between the handling core. Robinson indicating some space he wants. As Boychuk goes central to the aforementioned Robinson. And now Lewis with a peach of a deep shot. Just the right sit and float for Boychuk to chase down for his second goal. And Canada take the 4-3 lead.
Peach is right. The Torontonian, 27-year-old Lewis, just puts a dot down to the end zone there. This D-line was grinding. I thought there was good coverage across everybody on the scrimmage line. And then by the time that throw went up to look upfield, it seems like they were really taking away unders as a defensive tactic, making the Canadians have to see the deep side of the field. The Canadians were able to recognize, and James Lewis took it upon himself and made sure there was no error in the throw. That was an absolute beauty. Let's see if the Belgians will adapt. They are circled up with Coach Max Vanney right now, that D-line.
Yeah, these two coaches will be abundantly aware of the threat the other side faces, and they are not taking this lightly. But I think they both see this as a little bit of an acid test. You know, with maybe not so much prep time as a whole unit, not being able to really test themselves in the fires of competition yet. This is a really good early marker. Ben Yonkers gives to Desmarais on this near sideline. And Desmarais slashes across the field to collect the return pass. Nice clear out deep as feet reset on the travel. Bontemps is poached off, so that's the option. Alain Desmarais really quarterback the offense from the backfield at the moment. Getting a big fake deep. Ben Yonkers loses his footing slightly. That one didn't feel massively open, and Oscar Stonehouse with a massive block agrees.
Stonehouse goes straight to the gritty to celebrate. Yonkers puts that too far in front. Bontemps had no chance. That was all Stonehouse.
This line have been able to get the break before on their previous possession. Can they do it now? Miller works short with Petanuzzo. Miller's got that wide wingspan, so he can really threaten those around release points on the mark. Vogel, he was big in their game yesterday against Japan, clears through now. Stonehouse with a now trademark mullet. Miller finds the end zone shot. It's Max Petanuzzo, and it's another Canada break. This D-line plays with fire and energy and verve, and it's working.
That's two layout Ds for the Canadians on two underthrown looks by the Belgians. I mean, credit Stonehouse there. He took a great line, and I love that layout. Two hands up, went full Superman on that. The mullet flaps flying like a cape behind. And then Petanuzzo again wanting to quarterback, looking for every other touch when he can. And when he can't, he'll take that up line, find the corner, and convert for a goal. Belgians struck back. You saw a little bit of confidence out of them, but these Canadians are not going away. Their defense is really looking quite strong against a Belgian lineup that player by player on paper, you expect them to be able to get separation in a lot more matchups than they're showing right now. And credit again to the Canadians for taking it upon themselves to flip the switch, take on these Dan Desmarais, these Yonkers, these Bontemps, and say, yeah, whatever, it's just another player. That's the guy playing O. That's the guy going to shut down, and shut down they have in many cases.
So fielded from the floor, the first pass picks out Desmarais just in front of the end zone line. Ref Yonkers now. Still see the compression sleeve on his right knee. Of course, he had that horrible ACL injury about a year and a half ago now. It's great to see him back out there doing his thing. Out of the hands quickly to Desmarais, and easy into the end zone to Sophie Bontemps for the Belgium score.
The Belgians look so much cleaner once they've been broken. Both times they've been broken, they put the O-line, a very similar O-line, back out, and they have been scintillating, scorching their way up into the end zone as they did that time. That was a beautiful possession. That throw right there, two throws ago, Yonkers to Don under the arm that kind of compromised the mark, really blew things open and made the finish easy for Desmarais to Bontemps.
Man, I love watching Sof Bontemps. Really had a big breakout in 2022 on a different surface, but not the grass, indoors in fact, at the European Indoor Ultimate Championships in Lithuania. And he was just immense that entire weekend. And from there, his star's only risen further and further. Beach, sand, grass, indoors, bon tom is always going to be a problem.
Yeah, and he has been the continental counterpart to Don Desmarais, moving over to Chicago to play for the Union and Machine this year on grass, and really pulling a lot of weight. That pull did not come back in, and that is a tough break for the Belgians, a great break for the Canadians. It's going to be about 10 meters out on the sideline, I suspect, Benji.
Yeah, and this is going to be certainly a lot easier for Canada to not give up the opening break, given that they're not starting in their own end zone. De Crana didn't get that one right. Struggling to get the disc off the line. That's a floater way into the backfield. They keep possession.
That negates the pull.
Here's the shot coming from Lewis. There's coverage there. Batrancourt, I'm not sure that it was going to be caught anyway, but he didn't want to take the chance, and he gets the spectacular tip over the back cone.
I'm so happy he didn't care to know whether it was or wasn't going to be caught, and still made that layout play. What a awesome bid. Puts the Mac on it. Ensures that goes sailing out the back corner. Love what I see out of Batrancourt today.
He's really stepping up to the plate, to borrow a different sporting metaphor. First pass is reset into the end zone. Gernhardt with the around break. That's Tua, and here's Arna. The brothers just playing it between themselves in the backfield at the moment, faking the first player out of the lane to take the break. Torohisa. De Crana, we know that he's got a license to shoot a lot of the time, is maybe understating it.
Is it a license or a penchant?
Maybe both. Even if he didn't, I'm not sure you could stop him.
He, of course... Well, we'll play on here.
Here's the aforementioned De Crana. There's the deep shot, trying to keep the edge to keep it in bounds. It's going to allow the chase down, but excellent awareness and footwork from Luca Rogisar. I thought the edge from Lando De Crana was going to take it out of bounds, but it's held its line superbly. Brought in for the score, and just like last time, Belgium break back at the first time of asking. It's fives.
What a game. And, you know, we just mentioned his penchant and license to huck. The only thing between our mention of that and the actual huck was about 3 stall count ticks. Lander winds up and puts it before there. Here's the turn. There's Batrancourt, so good. And, you know, it's worth mentioning, it was nearly from that exact spot where Lander sent the big pull in the championship game in the club division that turned into a out-the-back greatest. And so he's obviously, you know, comfortable hucking anywhere. There's just behind the game advisor, another look at the foot, definitely down. He's comfortable hucking. He's very comfortable in big games. He's comfortable in this very stadium. And Lander, you know, missed on the pull and made up for it after his first touch.
Skyscraping pull from Dirick that's fielded at the back of the Canadian end zone. They are still in their own territory here as Stonehouse catches the riser, crossing over to the I was going to say crossing over to the O-line, but they've put this young gun D-line out there. Or at least a couple of them. Pedernuzzo. Back to Robinson. Now Boychuk. Shows the around flick, doesn't want it, instead isolates his reset. Back with it once more. It's passing off the switch downfield just to stop that continuation option. Here is Pedernuzzo. Dirick trying to shuttle Bryson. The around slung to Stonehouse. Belgium just trying to keep the pressure ratcheting up and not giving them these easy strike scores. Loose mark from Verreken. Floated over his head to Bryson. He sees that slashing inside option with the Oyo throw. the quote-unquote functional break. Stonehouse now on the end zone line. Can they force their way over? Well, I'm not sure Perenuzzo was expecting it to come, but Stonehouse pulled the trigger and he misfires.
Wow, everything but the goal there. I thought the Canadians did a great job absorbing very tight Belgian pressure, but I thought that it was going to come good, and just at the last asking, that misfire gives Belgium a glory chance.
Yeah, their chance to take their first lead of the game late in the first half. Here's Arthur van der Weger. Not sure there's any scarier sights to pick up after the turn. Dishing off. De Force goes back to Verreken. A very gentle feel to this D-line. There's the deep shot. He's looking for Derek. And Derek is on fire. Strikes into the end zone. Belgium on top for the very first time in this game. It's a 6-5 lead late in this first half, Steph.
What a turn of events. I mean, I thought that was Canada enduring, taking on the defense and scoring, finding a way in the very last moment. That throw to Perenuzzo in the corner, you're right, he just turned his head, was going to clear away as he saw it hit the ground. Here it is again, that pop pass, and the bid in front. And Benji, you said it before the game when we talked to Coach Max Vianney about the lines, and we realized Arthur van der Weger was playing defense, and you said, well, that is as scary as it gets to know that if they get the D, they've got Arthur van der Weger, he was an offensive player runner-up in Europe last year or the year before, and it just a pure thrower. I mean, we've seen him go off and have 8-9 assists in a game, and for Canada, that's tough news. That's something they are going to have to work out if the Belgians are going to get more turns and that man's on the field, they're going to have to slow him down or he's going to mount some break assists.
So 3 on the spin now for Belgium. How do Canada respond? The Belgians in front for the first time in this contest. Burden. It's a crafty break down the sideline to Page. Rising. And then off the hand of Burden. It's coming apart at the seams for Canada. Lunda tries to steal a march, but the deep shot isn't there. So he dumps off to Gernot. Betrancourt comes back underneath. Fakes the flick and resets. Definitely rather be doing his damage downfield, Betrancourt. De Krane. A little bit low, and he couldn't get his hand underneath to scoop it off the sand on Gernot. That's the first time Belgium's D-line has turned it back over. Lewis. In the red zone now. Thought about taking on the break shot, wasn't there. And then popped, looking for Lewis. Felt like a sure thing, but another one hits the sand, and this does happen on beach where turnovers come in clusters as you begin to tire, and the longer a point gets going, the harder it is to get either side off the field. Betrancourt motions players through to take the reset. De Krane guns it. What a throw! The beautiful, voluptuous inside-out shape. And at the second time of asking, the Belgians get the job done. It's the first time we saw either D-line turn over earlier in the point, but they got it back, and this time Lunda's aim was tried and true and trusted to get Belgium into half with a 7-5 lead. That's 4 on the spin for the Belgians.
Yeah, wow, what a point. First time that any D-line has turned it back over. We get multiple turns. Lander, De Krane stepping up with that throw, making up for the turnover prior. You see them all coming in droves here. The first point we've had multiple. And then look at this release. Lander, De Krane puts a dot down. Belgians are up 7-5. Taking it into halftime. Pool play from Portugal, WBUC.
Halftime here. Open Pool D from the World Beach Ultimate Championships from the beautiful sands of Portimão in the Algarve on the south coast of Portugal. If you want to watch all the action from WBUC this week, well, you need to get yourself an Ultiworld subscription, ultiworld.com/subscribe. Well as access to all the games this week, Ultiworld's extensive video archive. There's lots of other little perks in there, like the subscriber bonus sections on podcasts and articles, and you get access to the Ultiworld Discord as well, the most in-depth place to talk Ultimate on the internet. And as well as that, you can also buy event passes if you want to get all of the action specifically from WUBC. Then an event pass is an excellent way to do that.
So many options. Do yourself a favor. You will thank yourself for it. Click those buttons, subscribe, and sign up, and get all this action all week long, climaxing Saturday. 10 divisions, Benji. There's just so much to take in here. 136 teams, 38 nations. Must we go on to list off all the reasons that this subscription is as worthwhile as it comes?
Yeah, 4 games around the showcase field and 3 extra all-access fields as well. So Belgium, having scored 4 on the bounce to take us into half, have got the O-line on the field to begin the second, and they could make it 5. Heymans, will he throw another haymaker? Not this time, just going to go short to ref Yonkers. It's Yonkers' turn to air it out. Can Desmarais catch up to it? Of course he can. Looked over the wrong shoulder, but it didn't matter because the Belgians have got their finesse throwing on point here, Steph.
Wow, they're running away with this. 8-5 now, 5 in a row. This one on O. They're going to put their D-line back on the field. Canada are going to need to find a way to stem the flow, and slowing down that O-line, it's a pick your poison kind of O-line. Sure, you can put your best player on Don. You can try and play off of Don, but they got too many weapons in a 5-player game, in a beach game, that you can put 4 defenders on Don, and those other guys are going to kill you. The Canadians got to find a way, change it up, change the assignments, and see what they can do to slow it down. But that is secondary. Yes, they just had to face the O-line there. It's the D-line of Belgium that has been slowing down this Canadian offense. Can they put it together and walk one in and then have a chance at slowing down the Belgian O-line? Because right now, it's all Belgium on these Portuguese sands.
It's so good to see ref Yonkers out there doing his thing again. After that horrible knee injury, the ball was touched on the way out, so Canada have to start from the back of their own end zone. The pressure valve ratchet up, they pass off the switch deep, that floater for Boychuk. Can Derek get there? Not this time. Deep shot faked, and the short one spilled by Robinson. Canada are at 6s and 7s at the moment. Verreken motions away, cutters deep. DeVos bounces with Van Leberger. Van der Weyger with a big plant comes into the backfield. The young buck DeVos goes to a much more seasoned Arthur Van der Weyger. Saw him flip the grip a little bit there, maybe thinking about an overhead, but he puts it back in the locker. Safety first. Derek finds the space to Van der Weyger. Now Van Leberger. Back to the bespectacled Van der Weyger, and he slides the scuba past the defense into the hands of Benjamin Verreken. This is 6 on the spin now for the Belgians. They were 5-3 down. Now they're 9-5 up.
What a way to make a living. Arthur Van der Weyger does it again. Another turn his D-line generates, and another moment for him to take over as though he's running an O-line. Again on the every other, 2 assists now, but really just dominating the flow of play for the Belgian counterattack right from the pickup, every throw, threatening the inversions until he finally pulls it out with the scuba to Verreken, his hometown teammate, the 2 gentle compatriots, making the city of Ghent proud. putting yet another break point on the board for Belgium.
I think this year was the first time you've ever been to Ghent, and it is a wonderful ultimate scene there. Beautiful city. And they're producing a fair few standout ultimate players. The development program for Gentle is absolutely second to none on the continent. Pernuzo looking to sit that blade over to Mackenzie, and the pressure was enough from Landa de Klana. I don't hate the option, but it's a tough read with that angle. Always making Mike Mackenzie really have to work to get there.
You know, I'm not sure which D-line I like more for Belgium. Both of them are very distinct, and I like the two different styles. This is the quicker, more athletic version, and let's see what they do now.
Yeah, it's going to be Landa de Klana to shoot, and this time Luca Rodisa can't get the layout in. I mean, if you're Belgium, you're feeling it right now. I understand trying to ride the hot hand a little bit, really compound the misery onto the Canadians, who at the moment haven't had an answer.
It's been for quite a long moment now.
Obviously, Canadian coach Chris Artibello, as well as being vastly experienced, will have a lot more recognition of some of these Belgian players. Let's listen to this discussion.
Still count. 1.
Just a discussion about some contact away from the disc. Just going to say that Chris Artibello was coaching Clapham in the Open Division in Europe this season, so we'll have even more familiarity with a lot of these Belgian players. Here's the deep shot. It's a floater. It's going to hang. Can Pernuzo get there? Excellent box out in front of Tuur Gernot, and finally they stop the bleeding. So good thing they did as well, because they're going to have to start a comeback quick with less than 10 minutes left in this contest that's nicely poised at 6-9.
Pernuzo showing some animated celebration after that. It's a tough one when you're playing down to get that check, but that hopefully that's what Canada needs to get something going. A little kick of the can there. A little show of extreme emotion. Interesting that Gernot and Pernuzo had the foul discussion right before they shoot to the same pairing, and Gernot did a good job trying to come ladder, tried to maybe even apologize, and Pernuzo went stomping through in celebration as Canada put their first point on the board since 5-4 in fact.
The much needed hold for Canada. They can't get those D-lines rolling if they can't get them on the field. It throws a little bit behind and offline there from Ref Yonkers. Osterlink made the layout but could not snag. There's the deep shot, looking to strike deep instantly to Adibe. Dan Demarais that time caught peeking too much in the backfield. Adibe stole a march, and Canada break. I tell you what, it's the D-lines really that have been getting the job done for both sides here.
Yeah, what a response. Canada finally break the hex, stem the flow, get an offensive hold on the board, and then come straight back and follow it up with their first break in a very long time since the 5-3 point they took. And it's a 2-point game here, and you'd think that's almost impossible when a team goes on a 6-point run in the middle of the game. But Canada are behind, but do not count them out here after getting that break. One more, and then you really get the sweats if you're the Belgians. You start to wonder how it could possibly happen, how you cannot be running away with this. How have we not won it yet? The seed of doubt gets planted. Right now, they're still in front. They should still be feeling confident, but it doesn't take much more against for that confidence to swing.
Again, the blading backhand pull favoured by the Canadians. When Belgium have been broken, they've kept the O-line out there, and they've scored cleanly on the next possession every time. Demarais with the backhand looking for Yonkers, but the sand monster bites his ankles. He slips and can't secure. Lavoie picks up to find Bryson. Canada with a chance to go just the one behind. Mackenzie now, World Games alternate this campaign. To Bryson, who was on the roster for real, looking deep for a D-Bay at the back of the end zone, but no one's going to have a chance at that one.
D-Bay gives the gratuitous bid just to let it be known that he really had no chance. That throw got way too far away, showed the wrong side to the wind, and it blew out the back of the end zone. But that was the first time the Belgian O-line had given it up on a redemption, a point after break. So they're feeling good to have it back in hand, but not looking quite as strong as they were amidst that 6-point run.
Heyman's underneath to ref Yonkers to initiate. Fakes a couple of deep options and finds Bontemps for a nice gain of meters in the midfield. Desmarais bounces it back to Yonkers. Shows the low release, doesn't want it. Desmarais trying to change the angle. Switch passed off at the front of the Canadian defense. As Yonkers goes to Oosterlink, and Oosterlink slots it in to Brecht Heymans for the Belgian hold. 3 up, with 3 needing to win, and just over 5 minutes on the clock.
Good response for the Belgians, albeit a dirty hold. It is a hold after a break. That is what they have showed their proficiency in doing. Every time they have been broken by the Canadians, that is 3 of them, count them, over the course of the game. The Belgians, it's 5-3, the break game. It just feels that much worse because they've sandwiched a hold on the other side of half in there, and the run against has felt dramatic. We're into a timeout here. I'm imagining it is a Canadian taking timeout. Not much time to go. We may not make it to 13. Almost unlikely to make it to 13.
Very unlikely, I think.
So, we'll get to that 0. We'll finish that point. Add 1 to the highest score. We'll give ourselves a new time cap. But it is Canada with the work to do. Of course, one of the great things about this game, Benji, you have to score the last point to win once we have an establishment of a scoring point cap. And, the closer you get to it, the more pressure's on, and it always gives any team a chance when you're within 2, even 3. We've seen, of course, that potential to go to 4, 5, 6, and more. So Canada definitely behind. Belgium have played the better game here, but still in with a chance as time is ticking away and we're getting to the pointy end of this one.
Derrick with that bright yellow Ultra Star in hand on the ball here for the Belgians. Fielded on the slide in the center of the end zone, and the first pass out of the end zone is to Brissett. Boychuk shows the deep option but shelves it in favor of the underneath to Lewis. Now Robinson tries to slot that one, and he does, past the bidding defender. Desmarais crossing over to play defense for the first time, really, was powerless to stop the put to Page.
What a great connection for the score there. The throw, an absolute scintillator. Page makes a big play with a very dangerous defender on the hip. Don just played a D point now. You think he's going to be too tired to stay out there and play O-Benj? Benji laughs because, for those of you unfamiliar,
I don't think he gets tired.
Doesn't have a problem playing multiple points in multiple games. I think it was up to him. If every point was important, he would play every one of them.
Even if they weren't, I think he'd probably still want to play every one of them, to be honest. He's just that kind of guy. He never wants to come off the field.
He's got ticker, that is for sure.
I think it'd be interesting to see how they manage his minutes throughout the tournament, whether they do give him real license to cross over freely, or whether they're just trying to maybe keep some more in the tank for the later stages of this shindig. So a minute and a half before cap. Canada in a little bit of a hole here, down 10-8. The pull not fielded cleanly by Van der Rost. Desmarais fakes and then returns the pass. Still in their own end zone at the moment. Pick called. Everyone back in position. Miller on the mark, checks in. Low, but Desmarais secures. And sneaks that through the ear holes to Yonkers. Looking to activate some throw and go motion with Desmarais in the backfield. The two of them running the Canadian defense ragged. Somehow that stays up off the sand to Van der Rost. Desmarais again, continuing to marshal the troops as they drive downfield. Happy to take these little return passes. There's the gainer to Bontemps. Onslink playing the finisher role this possession. Bontemps zips it to Desmarais, and he's not going to take the instant force. There's the whistle, time cap coming on. As good feet from Desmarais, collecting the return pass from ref Yonkers, puts Belgium up 11-8.
I mean, not quite dominator, but a handler weave, switching in and out of it. Everybody except Oosterlink, who, as you said, was maintaining the upfield, the continuation and goal-scoring potential. He didn't end up collecting, but a great series for Ref, Dan, Soph, and Van der Rost, just really exchanging, playing the lateral, bouncing off the sidelines, side to side, as this man continues to collect himself some stats.
Yeah, a little bit quieter in the opening game yesterday against Lithuania. Happy to let his teammates pick up a little bit more of the slack, but he has understandably been somewhat more involved against a higher quality opposition. Just the 3 goals and 2 assists for him.
Oh, yeah.
But he did do something that he didn't do at US Nationals.
Yes, he's got a turnover.
Although maybe Noah can find the statisticians and quibble with them about it. I understand that's what he is wont to do. That throw is low. Did it come off the sand? Van der Weyker picks up. Belgium looking to ice it. Verreken, can he find the option down the line? No. Oh, there's so much space in the end zone for Pierre-Jan de Vos. Another Belgium break makes it 12-8. And that is that.
That's that in the books, Benji. The Canadians come undone in the middle portion of the game. They found a way to start to hold again in the second half, but too little, too late. A break to finish off is just what Belgium needed to put the cherry on top and really solidify this victory as convincing in the end. They let Canada sneak back a break in the second half, but really, after they took away the guts of that game, there was no turning back. Belgium take the big pool play win against the Canadians. Have a look at these stats, Ben. 6 for 9, the Belgians on the holds, and 6 for 8 on their break chance. That there, even 3 for 4, 75% as well for the Canadians, but you're getting twice the chances for Belgium. It's just, that is the big difference there.
Yeah, it's just more consistently able to get those opportunities. I mean, a hold rate of under 50% for Canada is quite simply, if you want to contend for medals at this tournament, not up to scratch. Belgian D-line completing more than twice as many passes. I think that's generally going to get the job done for you. Excellent opener to kick off day 2 here at WUBC, Steph.
Solid game about all across the board. Canada continues today for pool play. They'll face Lithuania, who Belgium beat up yesterday, while Belgium will take one of the other. This is a tough group. They got Poland up next today, so they've got a really tough day with Canada and Poland. We'll see how they fare, but this one's in the books. Belgium takes the win on Canada.
Yeah, and you can watch that Belgium-Poland game with an all-access Ultiworld subscription or a WUBC 2025 event pass. Back and forth game here. Canada on top early, but Belgium ran away with it either side of half and finished it to pied, and of course your final score here, Canada 8, Belgium 12. We'll see you on the other side.